Hello, my name is Aaron Chavez, and I'm here to teach you about your unique value proposition as a startup founder. So, you're building your startup, you have an idea for a startup, you want to get out there and start testing. You maybe have heard of the unique value proposition, the UVP. I actually learned it first as just your value prop. Unique, I mean, why not? We're all a snowflake, right? Let's dive right in. So, why does it matter, right? We have to know the why, or else it's just all noise and facts and nobody cares. But if there's a why, then we actually, again, we have a reason for doing this whole thing. As a founder, you need to be able to explain your business concisely and effectively. And those are two very intentional, specific, please pay attention to those words. Concisely, and this is ironic coming from me, but hey, I'm here to teach you things. Let me be verbose. Concise, say it with few words. Like when you can use less words, please do. Because the audiences that you're going to be talking to as the average founder aren't especially interested. And so if you don't speak concisely, you may lose your opportunity to grab their interest, to get their attention. The reason I'm talking a bunch and can do that a bit more where I operate is because I'm talking to founders who are interested in learning a thing from me. Therefore, I can say it 3 times as long, but sometimes, I hate to burst the bubble, I say it as like verbose and over and over, because the next time you come to this video or the next time we chat, you say, I didn't remember. It's like, yeah, well, there were 80 things I mentioned. That's why I said all 80 things 3 times. So maybe 5 of them stick. And then the next video, maybe a 6th will stick. And then you just keep going until eventually through repetition, my little voice pops in your head and you go, I'm talking too much. I should say it like this, or I should do that. It's important. Effectively means you're hitting on the right points in order to get a desired result, right? If you're effectively washing a window, it gets clean. If you're effectively explaining and utilizing your value prop, you're gathering data and information, responses, your yellow brick roads, which we'll talk about. You're gathering things. So every time you say your business to someone or you try to describe it, they're going to go, oh, that's cool. That is not effective because that doesn't tell you anything. They didn't bite on anything. But if you describe your business and they go, hey, that part right there, like I actually, and what about, and hey, have you thought of, there we go. Now you said a few words and you got this big old impact. That is worth its weight in gold. Regardless of where you are in the journey, because I work with founders all across the early stage. And early stage, I regard as idea all the way up to post Series A. There are Series A companies that I talk to that are still small companies. So whether you're testing the idea, testing is really helpful because why would I go like test a product or have to write an 8-page, manifesto on what my business is if I could create a 2-sentence thing and then go to a networking event tonight and start hearing what people think? And again, there's a difference between wanting to be a founder and wanting to build something. When you want to be a founder, you want to post about it on Instagram. When you want to build something, you go, hey, how do I solve my problem and get back to work, right? Well, here's a solution. Now you get back to work. Networking for a co-founder. It could be networking for anything, but imagine you're at an event. Imagine you're trying to talk to somebody and they go, tell me about your business. And then you go on a 10-minute tirade. They're not that interested, right? And especially if you're trying to meet, imagine you're doing a little co-founder speed, like dating, speed networking thing, which I've seen and been a part of 1 or 2 of those. You only have 60 seconds. You only have 20 seconds. And you want to pitch someone on how cool your business is. It's like, great. Well, you better say something good. Raising capital, again, same scenario, but imagine you're talking to 100 different investors or sending different emails or LinkedIn's. If you can't explain your business concisely, don't be surprised when investors don't know you, don't care about you, and frankly aren't that interested, right? And finding customers. Customers, again, your value prop may need to be a little tweaked just to make it more salesy or a little bit more kind of customer friendly. But fundamentally, by understanding a value prop, it's kind of like, by learning how to play the game of by learning how to play chess, you understand strategy, right? By learning how to build a unique value prop, this UVP, you understand how to talk to the customer because you kind of understand a bit more about why they'd even talk to you in the first place. And if you can predict that a bit, it makes the whole dialogue so much smoother. It's easier to get interest and talk about things that progress a conversation. It's kind of like, I know a lot of times I go to networking events and it kind of feels like you're just throwing kindling at people where it's like, come on, catch. And you're just throwing this and nothing's catching. But then you hit them with the right value prop and they go, oh, this and that. And it's like, bam, that fire kind of caught. Great. Here's our formula. You know me, I love a formula because why innovate when you can formulate? What you are, name, and then your business model. Again, I'm going to use my company because it's just so easy because it's right in front of me. So we are Unconventional Ventures. We are a consulting firm operating around the U.S. Very simple, very big. Serve it, Then we get to the next part. Who do we serve? Notice I always want to go there. So this is one sentence. So we are Unconventional Ventures, a consulting firm serving early stage startups, blah, 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 blah. And I can add more attributes. Early stage startups looking for, early stage startups based in Phoenix, early stage startups looking to raise I can throw different things, but let's just keep it simple. Who you are, who you serve, or what you are, who you serve, what you do. Our consulting firm helps founders build their financial models, plan their business, and optimize their operations. What's the result? Which results in more cash flow, improved valuation, and successfully raising capital. Now, that's a really important piece. That second sentence is more of the business than the first sentence. Because if what you say in the second sentence is interesting, now we're cooking, right? What you do, we are a software that helps people stay more compliant. Great. We are a banking solution that helps high-risk merchants. We do this. What is your action of the value? What is it you do? And doesn't have to be the word you use there. Our platform does. Our marketplace enables. I don't care what it is, but what's the action, right? Like running. You want the verb here. The result is where'd you run to, right? Run towards something. The result is, hey, and let's use Airbnb because it's so easy. Our marketplace allows people looking for lodging across the United States. What does that result in? To find comfortable, safe, reasonably priced accommodations wherever they are in the world. Notice that could probably even be compressed, but you really get what Airbnb does. You get it real quick. We have a marketplace. We service these types of customers. Again, insert attributes here of what they're looking for, right? Looking for homes and looking for accommodations, blah, blah, blah. And what's the result of those? Well, they find it, right? In the same way, we help companies make compliance easier, which results in less compliance infractions, less fines, less fees. We help lawyers find match with clients that need lawyers desperately because of time-sensitive scienarios, which connects ultimately 30% more people with lawyers, or which doubles the average lawyer's client base without increasing their marketing. Like, notice I'm trying to connect whatever action, whatever I'm doing or whatever my software is doing to a result. Because when you do those, now a founder, now an advisor, now a customer, it can click. Oh, if I get that, then I get that. So now it's just a question of, is the what it results in worth it? Because if you talk to me as a CFO and you go, hey, if you use our accounting software, it's going to save you 20% on your bill. My thought, I sit back in my chair, very pensive, and I go, 20%. Is their software worth it? Like the cost of implementing it, the cost of using it, whatever it is that worth saving 20%? Well, if I have to use, does that factor it in already? So really it would save me 30, but they're costing me 20. Okay. Notice again, I'm not trying to make an assumption immediately. I'm really trying to think. I'm not just trying to get an answer that sounds good. And when you try to think and look for holes, look for weaknesses, look for concerns, right? Notice how I did that little, hey, they said it saves me 20%. I wonder if that factors in their fee. That's a good question, because what if all of your customers think that and none of them ever say it to you? And then they have this little concern in the back of their head. And if you explain that one thing, again, people don't buy things for the dumbest reasons. You have not bought something for a dumb reason, right? So we have to remember that people are people around here, even if they have the title of CFO or CEO or whatever, king of the world. Difference versus competition. This is not something I always say. This is something I always have ready. Because remember, you're operating in the world, and the world has things. At a minimum, it has a status quo, which means, as an example, if your product helps people, stop from stubbing their pinky toe, the status quo right now is people going, I'm going to walk a little further away from that corner of my house. Or, damn, I got to remember my bed. The new bed I bought, it has like this little push out thing, and I always hit my toe on it. It's like, yes, that is the status quo. And sometimes the solution to the status quo, what's actually working, is people making mental notes to themselves. People putting a little soft foam thing on one of the corners that they hit the most often. So if and when they do, it doesn't hurt as bad. Notice that we're not trying to assume what they should do in this question. We're trying to understand what is the status quo and how are we different, right? It's one of those. Most people are stuck trying to remember if they've been compliant because they're working off old paper documents and trying to remember 100 Google Sheets. Notice you're just summarizing, you're trying to be accurate. And the other side of this equation is difference to direct and indirect competitors. Direct and indirect competitors varies. As an example, like Microsoft Excel is an indirect competitor to how many different companies, right? Every accounting business, and also it's a direct competitor depending on how you want to position it. And there's also direct competitors, right? Uber and Lyft. So it doesn't matter if you have a direct competitor. This is something I teach my founders. I don't care if your direct competitor literally is everything that you are. I care how well we execute what we are and how well we position and where we operate, right? They could be in 25 states. What about the other 25 states? Last I checked, there's 50 states in this great union. Let's go tackle the other ones. Like, again, there's always a solution if you just stop with the excuses. So that's what we try to do around here. So the reason I keep this in my back pocket is because normally, and again, I've just done this 1,000 million times, you go up to someone and you meet them at an event and you go, oh, what do you do? Like, what brings you to the event? Blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh yeah, my name's Tom and I do da-da-da. And they go, oh, what do you do? And I hit them with this. Oh, hey, my name's Aaron. And I may be introducing myself as one of the startups that I'm involved with, right? But hey, I'm this, hey, I'm that. One of the most common responses, I'd say it's a third, 25 to 33% of what I get is, oh, how is that different than, or how are people doing that? Because people are curious. They want to know, like, oh, like I thought if I met a startup founder and they're like, oh, we created this new accounting software that helps blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, oh, that's really cool. Like I work with founders and I definitely think they could use some more stuff. How is it? Again, genuine question. And this is the point. It can be genuine. It's not even them being mean. Genuine question. How's it different than QuickBooks? Because I know that QuickBooks does like this and this, if I remember correctly, but I'm not, an expert, blah, 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 blah. Now, if they don't have a good answer, now they should go and figure out what a good answer sounds like. But more than that, if they do have a good answer, they're selling me. If they go like, oh, we get that question all the time. QuickBooks looks like it does this, but if you actually export the data, it actually has this and this and this. And our solution specifically actually solves that. It's different. It's the difference to the competition. It's the difference to the status quo. So I'm not trying to go out there and scream, I'm different from like day one. What I'm trying to do is know why I'm different. So if pressed, I have a good answer. Very often, it's not a bad thing that your startup gets questions. Like a lot of founders are very nervous to get questions at the end of a pitch. It's kind of like the old framework of a test isn't an opportunity to fail. It's an opportunity to demonstrate what you know. In the same way, questions from investors, sometimes investors will ask you questions just to get under your skin. And that's a time to show them what you are made of, meaning, hey, can you take a challenging investor question and respond well to it? Can you turn dust into gold? If you can, I bet you're more likely to get that investment. I bet you are. Again, notice all this formula. It's all designed to be tested, to be utilized, to be put into the fire. Now, what do you do with it? I've given you 50 examples, but I'm going to say more things about it anyway. Test, test, test. And when you're done, test it again. You're going to be saying this for the life of your business because Sam Altman gets on the stage and talks about what OpenAI does. We know what OpenAI does. He still says it. You're still going to have to say it. So just let it go, right? I try a variety of specific versus general unique value props because I find that both specific, let's say my product has 3 features. I'm going to try 3 different value props that speak to each feature with I'm going to put more emphasis on it. Maybe I have 3 different customer segments. I'm going to try a value prop that uses the 3 different segments and I try to contextualize it like that. I'm going to try a value prop that actually covers everything, covers all of our segments. How would I describe everybody as an average? If I have 5 different segments, how is everybody? How are just the majority? How are these 2? Churning. When you do that, you find that at a certain point, you go to an event and you could be blackout drunk. You could be you could be coming out of a coma, and I could ask you, "Hey, what's your unique value prop?" And you're just gonna hit me with it. It's gonna be great because you say it so much that the words become second nature and the way to manipulate them becomes second nature. This is another reason why I make it a formula, because a formula can be A plus B plus C. It can also be B plus C plus A. You can mix things and swap things depending on the conversation. There are some conversations where I start with the competitor, where they're like, "Oh yeah, Aaron, I heard you do some finance stuff, you create a QuickBooks software." And I go, "Oh yeah, you've heard of QuickBooks, you've heard of Xero, you've heard of probably some of these accounting." And they're like, yeah. And I go, "Well, listen, the big problem with these are that there are founders that run into X, Y, and Z issue. So what I did is I went and created a software for small business owners that does blah, blah, blah." It's all I did was just move something from the back of the equation to the front of it. And it just and I didn't do it because I wanted it. I was prompted, and then I was able to comfortably manipulate it to work. Again, this is social skills. This is advanced social skills, but this is still social skills. Listen for the 2 big E's: emotion and engagement. Emotion sounds like cursing. Sounds like changes in volume. "Hey, oh, that's amazing." Or you hear someone go, "Oh, shit, that sounds horrible." I don't care what it is. I care that there's emotion attached to it, because fundamentally, people make emotional decisions when it comes to buying. Even if they're a big business CFO, there's still an emotion to it of them analyzing the risk and how good does this make me look and what's this and what's that. If you can find the things that they're passionate about, that they're emotional about, and I don't mean they love it, I just mean that they care, they get annoyed. If you talk to me about founders, if you provide a solution to me about founders always talking to me about capital raising, I would get more emotional than if you talk to me about founders that do operation stuff, because founders respectfully annoy me so much more with capital raising things because, again, they do things out of order. They want $10 million before they have a product, before they have a clue, before they have a developer. It's no. So notice my emotion would immediately pop up because that annoys me, engages me more than just helping some guy who doesn't understand CRMs and now we changed his business and he's making more money. Great. Engagement it's engaging. It's them talking to you. It's them asking questions, making comments. Again, participating in what you're saying, whether it's digging deeper or making notes. If you mention 3 things and they interrupt you on the 3rd, pay attention to the 3rd thing. Let go that they interrupted you. You got to let that stuff go, right? Just listen for the learning, right? This is not a time to be delicate. Last but not least, follow along and document. And follow along in true essence is about not being judgmental and about being curious and about not having an opinion, but having a curiosity. Because if you bring up, again, just keeping it simple, you have a software solution, it has 3 different core features. You bring them up, you get interrupted when you talk about the 3rd one. I don't then try to come back to the 2nd one unless it's helpful. I stay on the third feature and I go, oh, yeah, well, let me ask you, what's your experience with, feature 3? Have you used a solution that's used it? And they go, oh, no, I just feel on this and that. And you're yellow brick road. I want you to follow it to the end, because what if at the end there's some gold? What if at the end they tell you, oh yeah, we definitely pay for this, or we would definitely use that, or I see this really working with our VP of sales more than the VP of marketing, to be honest. Whatever it is, I'm not making I wish it was with the VP of marketing. I don't care who it's with. I care the person I'm talking to cares about what I said and can give me a hint on who wants it the most. I don't care height, weight, religion, their position, male, female. I don't care about nothing. I care about demand. I care about, do they have the right to sign on the company's behalf? And can we close them? Are they in a geographic region that I can engage with? Or do I have to be up at 3 a.m. to take this sales call? Because I will, but I'd prefer not to. Follow along. Be humble, be willing to be led on the journey. And here's the other piece. Just because you're following doesn't mean you set up shop. You can walk to the end of the yellow brick road and then turn around and leave, and then go down another and turn around and go down another. A lot of founders, they have one passionate conversation with a customer, and that customer's passion, they value passion as if it was worth 1,000 interviews. I will take 1,000 tepid answers over one super passionate, because the one super passionate, what if they're wrong? What if they're not the decision maker? What if this is not the place? Typically, again, you can have little golden nuggets emerge from different places, but generally speaking, you're not going to talk to 2 people and come to a full solution. 2 people of the 100 may make a suggestion that are really interesting that if you run down the other 98, the other 98 would agree with. But notice, just because the 2 people say it doesn't mean I instantly care. I go, I should test. I should think this through. I should figure out how to work this better. And that's why that second word is there, document. Write it down. You're not going to remember who you talked to. You're not going to remember what they said. You're not going to remember that quote that you think you will. You're not going to remember. You just won't. And you put your company at risk by making the assumption that your memory is better than it is. Unless you're one of those, I can memorize a whole pack of playing cards in 60 seconds people, I don't want to hear it. Because I guarantee if you're not one of them, you have forgotten your keys somewhere. You have lost your wallet. And those things are infinitely more important than what some random customer said while you were on a 10-minute Zoom. So please just skip it. Write down what you learned. And then when you have 100 people you've talked to and you gathered 3, 4, 5 little data points from each of them, some may be 0, some may be 20. And then you look at that, you analyze that. Do you think, again, I pose the question to you, do you think you'll have a better understanding of your business, your value prop, how to sell, how to market, what to build? The list goes on. So as you can see, startups, again, they're like any business. There's always 1,000 little things that hold them all together. But there are certain support beams, if you will, that really carry a lot of the weight and carry a lot of the load. And a unique value proposition, I think, is one of the biggest ones because of what it allows you to do with it, meaning you can go out in the market and test, but also what it does to you, because the process of creating 1 or 100 or finding the one that works will change your understanding of your business as a founder, or it will reinforce it at a minimum. I'm cool with either. I would love for you to go through this thing and you're 100% right the whole time. Great, but prove it with the data. Do not prove it with confidence. I don't care about your confidence. I care that you can prove it as if I didn't believe you, because respectfully, I don't. But that's every investor, to be honest. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. I hope you share your unique value prop. Obviously, feel free to share it with me. Share it in the comments if you'd like. I'm happy to opine on any of them if you share them and share my little thoughts. So we'll see you in the next video.